Hello and welcome to our show today. My guest is Laurie Dionne Asbeck, and our topic is judgments. What a big topic that is. Oh, covers a lot of ground. Laurie, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience? Sorry.
Thank you, Vicki, and thanks for having me on your podcast today. I am Laurie Dionne Asbeck, and I am a Reiki Master Teacher. I have a business called All One Spirit LLC, although it is in semi-retirement right now while I redesign what I'm going to be doing with it. I work with energy of all types. I've studied many different types of healing, crystals and stones, sound, tapping, very, very much in energy. I consider myself a visionary, healer, and hopefully a good citizen on the planet.
I think those are all great goals. What have you learned about your... Oh, I'm getting feedback in my mic. What have you learned about judgments, those voices that comment on everything and everybody that just keep talking in your ear, in your life?
Yes. Yeah. Boy, I've learned a lot about judgment, actually. One of the things I think about is it's like a spectrum. It can be either used as something that helps me move forward, a stepping stone. And on the other end of that spectrum, it narrows my thinking, it narrows my movement into a little pin, to where I can't move because I'm in fear. There are a lot of voices with it, very judgmental voices, cruel voices, voices that are, fearful and nasty. But for me, I've learned that I want a foundation to spring from. So there's four things that I think are important that I'd like to just touch on. One is I think we're all connected. There is no such thing as separation. And so what that means is when I hurt me, I'm hurting you. And when I'm hurting you, I'm hurting me. And that I think is a real important thing. The other thing that brings me to is the mirror image. I can only see in you what's there in me.
Right.
And so if I'm judging you, then that, comes back to me. The third thing I want to just mention is I learned this a long time ago, and it's been a difficult one to put into practice, and that is wear the world like a loose garment.
Yes.
Live and let live. Another way, of saying it. And then the last thing is I'm not in control. Well, I am in control of my life, but there are things I cannot control. So those are the things, the four cornerstones I want to say that I learned.
Yeah, those are fascinating. And I love your approach that judgment can move you forward in life. And do you find that that's if you're being neutral in your judgment? Maybe that would be more of an assessment than a judgment?
Well, so how I look at it is if it's a judgment, then there's certain steps I get to take to maybe make it a neutral thing. Yeah.
I like that. How has judgments impacted your happiness? You talked about how it sometimes constricts and narrows down to a pinpoint.
Right. And when I think judgment can come from fear, and when that happens, or insecurity, and when that happens, it does narrow that flow, and so happiness can't really get in if I'm so narrow and closed. But when I'm recognizing that judgment, and I go, oh, there it is. I get to be a human being and know that that's a human emotion is judgment. It's what I do with it that counts. So if I decide, oh, I want to explore this, I want to see if this is helping me grow or if it's keeping me back. So that just opens the whole chest area opens, it just opens that whole flow. And when I explore it and discover what I need to know about me, then I get this whole new freedom and joy and happiness and laughter and all those good things that go with it.
I agree so much. What comments do your voices say about you?
Well, you know, sometimes they still say nasty things, but sometimes what I've learned over the years is there's one focus that I come back to that skips all the hard voices, those harsh voices, and that is that I am a human being. I am a spirit in a human body having a human experience. And so, as such, judgment is one of the characteristics of being human. So, when I can remember that, I can skip over all those nasty voices and go straight to, oh, this is what it is. And it takes all the shame and the guilt and the fear, it takes that all away because I recognize it for what it is. And then when I can breathe again, I get to explore it. I get to discover how it's affecting my life and what I want to do about it.
Be curious about it. Curiosity is a
Yeah,
real
be curious about it.
antidote. Mm-hmm. For our guests,
Well,
Laurie has a satellite. So sometimes there's a delay in our exchanges. So just so you're aware. Yeah. So curiosity, neutrality, maybe compassion. Uh, what helped you learn those tools?
Oh, what helped me learn those tools? I think knowing that because we are all connected, I don't get to walk alone, that I need people in my life that help me see these things. Sometimes it's close friends who are like minded, sometimes it's a psychologist. Coaching has been a real asset in my life. I like the approach with coaching. It's so gentle. It's so safe. It just allowed me to explore. Trust is not an easy thing for me, so it really helped me build trust and that experience. The final thing for me, I do energy work, and that is all powerful for me. I like meditation, sound, and those things. But I also I study Buddhism, and I found that to be a real, or talk about stepping stones into understanding the spirit body in a human experience.
Yeah. So exploration, curiosity. What does self-love do to judgment in your life?
Yeah, so when I'm practicing love, um, judgment just sort of becomes neutral, like you say. I'm a big proponent of unconditional love. I'm kind of in love with love, and I think that all types of love, all types of love fall under the umbrella of unconditional love. And when I'm in unconditional love, I am compassionate. I am kind. I am trusting. I am trustworthy. I am all the good things that one associates with unconditional love. It's not an easy place to be, and that's where all those tools come in to play to help me stay in that area and
Yeah.
allowing judgment to be then that stepping stone.
Yeah. I know that you teach Reiki, and I know that you're writing a
Mhm.
novel now, or your third novel, right?
I'm on my third novel. Yeah. As I said, I'm kind of in love with love, and what I study a lot of things. One of my escapes is reading romance novels. So I'm writing love stories at the moment. I write under an assumed name. I'm not published yet. The assumed
Yeah.
name is Abella Lemerand. But yeah, I'm on my third novel.
How exciting.
I
And
know.
before
Thank
you
you.
started writing, did you have to face down that judgment of yourself or your judgment of your abilities or
Oh, all of the above, and the fear of of what other people might judge me as, I mean, so I had scenarios worked out that weren't even close to being real. So I think, again, using the process and the tools allowed me to finally find my writing voice, but the voices of the stories I tell are not my voice, it's their stories. So it's kind of exciting.
That is exciting. And that creative expression and that going within, expressing, writing that way is a lot about personalities, about crafting uh, uh, something about somebody. Do you find it different to shift from voice to voice?
It is, but there is a similarity too. And the other thing that I like about writing is it actually helps me work out some of my issues because, I am a human, and my characters all go through self-discovery. They go through self-doubt. It talks about the tools that they use to bring themselves back to homeostasis so that they can have a healthy and loving relationship. And so for me, it works that way as well.
That's a big challenge for all of us, a healthy and loving relationship. We can have healthy relationships, and we can have loving relationships, and we can have dysfunctional relationships. And I really love to go back to your comment that if I see it in you, it's in me. And sometimes what I see in my closest partner is something that's very hard for me to accept in myself. And I hear him saying it like a judgment, or I interpret it as a judgment. And then it's really nice to step back and remember that's me judging me. Hard to do, like you said. Very hard concept to put into place. Because we've been raised to think the other person can hurt us, can attack us, can make us feel bad. And we've learned, I know you and I have talked about it, that we don't need to take offense or take it personally, but that's hard.
It is. And we're talking about people here, and the same is with like situations and things. And I mean, it goes beyond people. But what I liked about what you said about the different types of relationships, we can have all those things in one relationship. Sometimes my marriage is very dysfunctional, and sometimes it's very supportive and kind and loving, but it's kind of a mishmash. And that's that humanness and the humor. You are very quick to bring humor to a situation, and I always appreciate that about you.
Oh, thank you. What tips might you have for our audience on identifying and dealing with judgment?
Well, I guess for me, I come back to the four foundations that I mentioned. Seeing in each other. I think unconditional love, again, is huge, because if I can do that, I can do anything. Getting there isn't easy. I think if I'm mindful of my thoughts, mindful of my actions, that's a place to start.
Yeah.
Because then I can recognize.
Yeah, I get stuck. I'm something has hurt my feelings. I get stuck in that dialogue in my head that says, "Well, did you hear that tone of voice that he just talked to you in? And who does he think he is to talk to you that way?" And the reaction. And I find that if I can pause and respond, and like you're referencing, out of love and give people the benefit of the doubt, maybe I heard something they didn't intend to say. And if I pause and just ask, well, what do you mean by that? Not in a, what the hell do you mean by that? tone of
Right.
voice,
Yeah.
attitude.
Right.
It all
Yeah.
plays in, doesn't it?
Right. It does. And I think, I think when we work with it, that we're able to bypass a lot of the struggle with judgment, but we have to go through the steps to get to that point. It's not an easy, place to leap to. It takes work. It takes curiosity, as all those things we talked about. Staying in silence and just listening to my thoughts sometimes is a little disconcerting, but it's very, very helpful. Writing things down is very helpful. So
Journaling.
as much as I need others to help me, I need to take those private, quiet moments as well and get that balance to hear my voice.
Yeah. I've enjoyed our discussion so much today on judgment. Do you have any other comments?
Only that I think it is important to use allies, to use friends, coaching, the tools, because it's an ongoing thing. I think it's great that you do these podcasts, Vicki. I think this is a place for people to come to help learn that there are tools out there and that they're not alone. That's a big one. We're just not alone on this planet. We're in this deal together, and to support one another is important. So thank you for the heart healing that you do. Thank you for that.
Yeah. If people have questions and want to get in touch with you about your writing, about your Reiki, about your energy work, where could they find you?
Well, I'm going to keep it real simple and just say laurieasbeck@gmail.com. That's LaurieAsbeck, one word, @gmail.com. I am on Facebook, Laurie Dionne Asbeck, but I'm very sporadic on Facebook. I'm not a dedicated user at this point in time. One of those tools I come and go with. So,
Yeah.
email me. You could call my phone too, 262-745-9267.
Repeat that.
262-745-9267.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you so much for being here. And to my guests, you can find me at Vicki Dawn Coach, VICKIDAWN Coach on Facebook, and at www.vickydawn.com. And until next time, goodbye. And remember, you create your beautiful life one moment, one step at a time.